Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my movie review for Star Wars The Force Awakens, yeah! Now, if you don't know what this movie is about, it's basically a continuation of the Star Wars story, and I don't really want to get too much into the plot of this movie because I didn't know a thing about the plot going into this movie. I was just completely blind with a lot of anticipations, and I came out praising J.J. Abrams and Disney and Star Wars as a whole, because Star Wars is back, guys. Star Wars The Force Awakens is not only one of the most entertaining movies I've ever seen, it's a great Star Wars movie, and it's a great movie for anybody who hasn't seen Star Wars. Now, this movie obviously stars a bunch of old cast members from the original Star Wars trilogy, including Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher. However, now they are accompanied by a new set of youngsters who include Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, and more people. And it's just amazing. Star Wars The Force Awakens is everything I wanted it to be, pretty much. Now, this movie is directed by J.J. Abrams, and in all honesty, I think he was the perfect choice for a director for this movie, because he is a fan of Star Wars. The writing in this movie by Lawrence Kasdan, Michael Arndt, and J.J. Abrams himself is so good. All the acting in the movie from the old cast members and the new cast members combined was all so fresh, and it was just so great to see all the old cast members from the original Star Wars trilogy back in this movie, as well as these new characters that you actually care about. And that's something I want to mention. These new characters are characters that you can get behind. And you want to know why that is? It's because J.J. Abrams respects good writing and filmmaking. Because for the first half hour or so of this movie, we don't really see a lot of action. And instead, we see Daisy Ridley, doing her job as a scavenger. We just spend a lot of time with her, and we get to know her as a character. And thus, when the plot kicks in and the action sets in, we actually care, and thus the action in the movie is so much more enjoyable and fun to watch. Now let's talk about the CGI and the overall production value of this movie. It is flawless. It blew my mind. The CGI is perfect. Whenever the filmmakers had a chance to do practical effects in this movie, they did them, and it just made all the special effects and the visual effects and the CGI and all that stuff just so much better and more realistic and more grounded, and it was just so great. Also, this movie is shot brilliantly. I mean, long, wide takes of people running in battle. It's so smooth. It's so precise. Now, John Williams did the music for this movie, and I love John Williams. He's probably my favorite musical composer of all time. I mean, he's composed countless works of art in his music, and with this movie, he has returned to glory. He's in his 80s, and he's still creating beautiful music for us to appreciate, and it's just so good. And now we're moving into some spoiler territories, because I realized that I couldn't complete a full review of this movie without talking about some spoilers. So skip to this point in the video if you do not want to have this movie spoiled for you. Please see it. It's an amazing movie. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that Kylo Ren is Han Solo and Princess Leia's son. And I love that. I could not have thought of a better thing for Kylo Ren to be. It not only created an ingenious conflict within just a few seconds, it also added character to Kylo Ren, to Han Solo, and to Princess Leia. And I love it. It made us care about them even more, if that's even possible. Now, the second thing I want to talk about in the spoiler category is perhaps the biggest thing that no one should know going into this movie, and that is that Han Solo does get killed by Kylo Ren, his own son, because Kylo Ren is just an evil, evil person. And a lot of people were mad initially that Han Solo got killed, and I can kind of see that, but at the same time, Harrison Ford, who plays Han Solo, didn't really want to do any more Star Wars movies. He only agreed to this movie, I think, so the filmmakers could kill him off. And to be honest, I'm really glad they did, because even though Han Solo is amazing, and I'll always love him in the movies that he is in, I felt like someone had to go. It made the character group that was in this movie feel something, because it made the stakes so much higher. Plus, it showed that these Star Wars characters that we love so much are actually real human beings. They can die, they can be killed, and I loved that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this spoiler section is Luke Skywalker. I was so excited to see him in this movie, and he's in the movie at the very end for less than a minute, and all he does is turn around, look at Rey, take his Jedi hood off, and look. And that's about it. He has no lines, he has nothing. I'm not even joking. And I wasn't that disappointed because I know he's gonna be in episode 8 more, and I really liked that the filmmakers didn't put him in this movie too much unnecessarily, and the fact that he was only in this movie at the very end just to tease us for episode 8 was a very wise decision, I think, on the filmmakers' part, and I'm really glad that we just got to see Luke. That's all I care about. We got to see Luke, and I want to see more, but we'll get more. Alright guys, we're back in the spoiler-free section. Now I'm going to talk about the 2 negatives that I had involving this movie. The first one is Snoke, the main emperor, basically, of this new trilogy, I'm guessing. Now, as far as a performance goes, Andy Serkis was great, but his appearance and the way he looks I found to be completely out of place in this epic Star Wars universe. He honestly felt like a Lord of the Rings character. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure he'll be cool in the other 2 Star Wars movies coming up very soon, but in this movie, I just didn't like him very much. My other small issue with this movie was I felt that they overdid it with the CGI near the end of the movie. No spoilers, of course. I just felt like it was overdone and there were too many explosions and I didn't really like it that much. But other than that, I loved this movie. This movie feels like a Star Wars movie. It feels like a movie that was made by fans of Star Wars. It's fantastically directed, written, filmed, scored, acted. It's just incredible, and I loved it. I'm gonna give Star Wars The Force Awakens a 9 out of 10. Just see it if you're a fan of Star Wars, if you haven't already somehow. Just see it if you're a fan of good movies as well. And that's about all I had to say, so thank you very much for watching this movie review. My name is Greg, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.